The following program is for entertainment purposes only. Off-the-leash animal news is not meant to be taken as official news information. Although the stories are real, some of the animals' names have been changed to protect their identity. If you are offended by any of the content, please discontinue watching and consult with your grandparents immediately. Some content may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Off the Leash Animal News,
the show where we bring you exciting and interesting stories about animals from around the world.
My name is Jason Kenzie.
And I'm Izik Nox.
On this episode, we're going to be talking about an owl that attacks a lady in her car.
Two idiots who give an alligator beer.
And in Australia, a dingo was dropped from the sky by an eagle. For our first story, we go to Arizona, where an owl has attacked a lady in a car. And this is crazy! So she's driving down the road and she sees an owl that is hit by a car. So being a good person she is, she gets out of the car, she runs over to the owl, and she's like, "Hello, little owl. Hoo, hoo! How are you feeling?" Picks up the owl and brings it into her car. What happens next? The owl comes alive and it attacks her, and she's driving all over the road. She's on her way to the vet hospital to try and take this owl, which she thinks is injured. Well, this owl was pissed off because it woke up and it was in a stranger's car and it started fighting with her. It was like fucking the owl attached talons onto her leg and other talons onto the steering wheel. Basically took her hostage.
You could say the table has flipped on that one, because originally she had taken the owl hostage in her car. At that point, the lady had called the wildlife authorities to ask for advice. They did advise her to pour water on the owl, I believe.
Which turned out the owl started drinking the water, and that was no good. She even tried to bore the owl to death by playing a game of checkers. That backfired too, because the owl kept winning. Can't make shit up.
That's right. At that point, the wildlife officials on the phone told her to pour water on herself for being a dumbass.
In the heat of the moment, the owl demanded that she drive him to Hooters, the restaurant, to get chicken wings. At first, she couldn't locate Hooters, so she looked it up on TripAdvisor, which angered the owl, which caused him to hold her hostage.
Little did she know the owl had planned this from the really beginning, as he saw her buy mouse traps at the local hardware store, and he knew that her home would be a great place to get some grip.
Finally, the owl released his grip and it flew out the window and into the night sky. It took her hours to clean up all this owl shit. See? I snuck it in.
In the end, the owl pushed her out of the car and drove off into the sunrise while listening to Drake.
The owl would not leave no matter what she did. Her last resort. She reached over and she was able to push her button on her CD player, which started playing Metallica, and the owl freaked the f*** out and flew out the window into the sunset. Thank God for Metallica. Followed quickly behind the owl was a cougar. I'm telling you, I can't make this shit. We have an update to this story. It says here the woman has been employed by Hooters restaurant. She makes great tips. So what would you do in that incident if, let's say, you tried to rescue an owl and it came to and it was flopping all over the place?
Probably called the wildlife authorities.
Can you imagine you have an owl that's holding on to you? You decide to pick up your phone and go, yes, excuse me, I have an owl that's attached itself to me. No, it's not a tumor. No, it's an owl. No, I didn't say buffalo. It's an owl. An owl. It's attached. It's holding on to me right now. It's all over the place. Can you tell me, how can I get rid of this owl? Dump water on him. Okay, that's fine and dandy. I have a cup of coffee right beside me. Do you think that might work? It's about a day old. Okay. Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, no, my kids are good. Yeah. Uh-huh. No, I'm in a lot of pain right now because I have an owl that has its talons deep into my fucking leg. No, I actually would grab the owl and try and put him as far away from me as possible. And I would probably roll down the window and fucking whip him out. That's what I would do. I'd whip the owl outside. She must have stood there for quite a while with an owl attached to her leg.
Or you could have rolled the window down and stuck your leg out the window and then the wind would catch all his feathers, and eventually, you just start going faster and faster, and then eventually the wind would take it all off your leg along with a good chunk of your meat.
Ironically, for Halloween, she was a rooster.
For our next story, we go to Florida, where 2 men have been arrested for basically holding an alligator hostage and making it drink beer while trying to get the alligator to bite their hand.
Yeah, the first animal that they tried to take hostage was an owl, but that thing fought back. These people say they weren't drunk. I'm just trying to see if I have stupid on my forehead. There was DNA tests taken, and it determined that both men were related to a goldfish. Upon hearing this, their pet goldfish jumped from their bowl into the kitty litter box in apparent suicide.
These 2 men have been arrested. I don't know, Jay. I would call it animal cruelty if you're forcing an animal to drink beer. Supposedly, they did this for sheer entertainment to post it online, and then, well, according to the media, they released the animal back into the wild.
In fact, that's how they got caught, was because of social media. If you're stupid enough to torment an animal and then stick those photos and videos on Snapchat, you deserve to be busted! And you deserve everything you get. What we don't know is after they let the alligator go, the alligator swam back into the swamp where it gathered a whole bunch of other alligators, which followed them home and then beat the living shit out of them, which they deserved.
And then they tied them up and forced them to drink swamp water and eat frog legs. 2 weeks later, they attempted the same thing with a black bear. They have not been seen since.
Of course, there was a photograph that was circling that showed this black bear dragging this guy off into the forest. And in front of them was a couple getting married. For our next story, we go to Australia, where a lady came outside into her backyard because she heard some yelping. It turned out it was a puppy that was running around, and on the back of the puppy was 2 talon marks. So she believes that it was dropped by an eagle. After getting DNA tested, it turned out that this puppy was extremely smart. Turned out it was a dingo. Not just any kind of dingo. It turned out it was an alpine dingo, which are extremely rare, on the verge of being extinct. The one thing about dingoes is they're related to domesticated dogs.
Jason, I wonder why the eagle dropped the puppy off instead of just taking it away.
Well, it's believed that the puppy ran out of money to pay the eagle, and so the eagle said, fuck you, I'm letting you go. What I'm wondering is, eagles fly pretty high up. You'd think that when the puppy hit the ground, that it would just go splat, and that'd be the end of the puppy.
Unless it found some bushes.
True, maybe the puppy was a little bit too heavy, and it was kind of dragging the eagle down a bit, so maybe it was only 20 feet up.
It is possible that someone in the household had actually ordered a dingo, and this eagle was simply working for Amazon, and it had delivered the puppy as promised.
Whatever this bird of prey was that dropped this dingo into her backyard did some cruel jokes, because for the weeks following, it kept dropping other animals into her yard, like a water buffalo, a camel, and 52 lemurs. She has now opened a zoo.
It is possible that the eagle had actually paid this lady off to stash this food in her backyard while she keeps it fresh.
Well, if you guys are thinking of dropping any animals off to her, just kind of throw it over the fence. She's used to that. The dingo puppy has been dropped off at the Australian Dingo Foundation by an eagle. Thank you so much for joining us on another OTL Animal News.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell to notify you every time an eagle drops a puppy in your backyard. And to notify you also when we upload another episode of OTL Animal News.
We have links for all the stories down below. Before I let you go, remember, always support your local animal rescues. See you next week.
Have a good night, everybody.